I am very pleased to be joined right now here at IGN FanFest by Joe Shelley, the game director on Diablo 4. Joe, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, Joe, Diablo cinematics, we're no stranger to them being beautiful from the Blizzard cinematics team, but you've got a new trick up your sleeve this time. Your actual custom created character is in the cinematics. Can you please tell us how that came to be?
Yeah, that's right. So we knew that in Diablo 4 we wanted to offer much more character customization than we'd offered in previous Diablo titles. The artists did such a great job. The characters look so incredible, close up, from all different camera angles, that we knew that they needed to be part of the actual cinematics that you're experiencing, right? So as you're playing through the campaign, you're going through a mix of gameplay to conversations with NPCs to dynamic combat moments. And part of that is these cinematics where story takes place, right? And so we thought it was incredibly important for the character that you create, your character who is actually taking part in all of this action, to be featured in the cinematics. And so we were able to, fortunately, with our engine and our tools and our artists coming together, especially our lighting team, really knocked it out of the park. We were able to get the cinematics to incorporate your character in a way that feels totally fluid. So you're playing the game and you're seeing yourself right there with those characters as the story is playing out.
And what's wild about it to me, as somebody that's been playing games my whole life, like we've gotten used to seeing our characters customized how we have them in in-engine cinematics, but this looks like it's all pre-rendered, like it's your character in a Blizzard game cinematic, which did you guys have to invent some new tools for this, or is there some magic sauce here?
We did, yeah. It's part of the engine that runs Diablo 4, and the art team really just delivered in an incredible way, from the lighting and the scenes to all of the props and the environments. I think it looks phenomenal, and I can't wait for players to check it out.
Now, story-wise, no surprise that cutscene kind of sets up a pretty bleak game, but story is something, at least from my experience in the press beta back in December, you guys seem like you're really doubling down, making an extra conscious effort with story compared to, I guess just the most recent Diablo mainline game, Diablo 3. Can you kind of speak to that for a minute about just the real focus that the team clearly has on story here?
We are, yeah. With Diablo 4, we really wanted to take our storytelling in the Diablo series to the next level. The Diablo world, the world of Sanctuary, all of the lore of Diablo is so rich and so interesting that we really felt like we could spend more time telling interesting stories. And one of the things that Diablo 4 does in particular is that it tells stories about people who are living in the world of Sanctuary, right? Obviously, there are angels with Inarius, and there are demons, and there are these supernatural forces that exist in this world, but characters of Sanctuary are the most interesting ones to follow, and you'll be right there along with them, both through the campaign, which is quite extensive, 30 hours or more of gameplay for players. There's tons of side quests that build out the world even more and really put a lot of effort into Diablo 4, more effort than we've ever done before.
You can probably guess what I'm going to ask you next, because it's not often that we get to talk to you. We got a release date at the Game Awards, and thus the next natural question, do you want to ask it for me right here and then go ahead and answer it?
Since we announced that we would be doing a beta for Diablo 4, people have been asking, when is the beta? I think someone asked me, what is my favorite beta date? As a way to try to get an answer. And I'm incredibly excited because we're going to announce it today, right now. Now, remember, of course, that the game itself is coming out on June 6th, and you're going to be able to play the beta on March 17th through March 19th, so that weekend, if you've pre-ordered, right?
Yeah.
That is going to get access to the early access beta. Now, everyone in the world will be able to play it on March 24th through March 26th, so the following weekend there. So pre-order, you're going to get an access to an extra weekend, and everyone gets to play the weekend after.
And then if you're in that early access weekend, does everything get wiped and you're going to start over during that open weekend, or is everything, do you get preserved for that following weekend?
No, it'll carry over between weekends, but
Nice.
obviously the character progress during the beta will get wiped before release. We want
Right.
everyone to start with a fair playing field. And of course, it's going to be available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation systems. And the beta itself, it's quite extensive. It's quite a significant look at the game, right? So it is limited by that period of time, right? Like the servers will shut down at the end of that time,
Yeah.
but there's no time limit within the game. You can level all the way up to 25, which is quarter of the way to the level cap of 100 in the full game. You'll be able to play all the way through the prologue. You'll be able to play through Act 1, which takes place in Fractured Peaks, one of our 5 areas in the game. And you'll be able to play through all of the campaign and side quests that exist in that area. So there's quite a lot to check out.
Oh, love hearing that. Now, in my experience covering games for a long, long time now, a lot of times when we see these betas nowadays, they take place like the month before release at the earliest, and they're kind of more like, for all intents and purposes, demos. But you're actually leaving enough time here to incorporate actual player feedback, given that you're doing this in March. So what are some of the things that you're going to be watching for when players get their hands on the beta, and how much actual meaningful feedback do you expect to incorporate into the final game?
This beta is happening far enough ahead of launch, and there are 2 reasons to do that. One, of course, we want to test our server infrastructure. We want to make sure that the game is actually ready for everyone to play at launch. We want everyone to have the best experience possible at launch. And 2, it's another opportunity to test our balance, our game's balance, right? So we're going to be able to look at data from this, even though it's an early look, players aren't going to be experiencing the end game in this beta. It will give us valuable information for class balance, valuable information for how fun various quests are. We've got more information about the details of the beta. I touched on them a little bit, but if you tune in on February 28th, we're going to be doing our second developer live stream. And so we'll have more information about the beta then.
Excellent. All right, Joe, so we are just about a month away. Is there anything else about this beta coming up that we should know, that we should be on the lookout for when we play it?
We were talking about the cinematic, the opening cinematic earlier, which features your character, but you should know that there are a bunch of those in the game, and you're going to get to see a number of them during the beta. So that's not the only one, and there's some really cool stuff in there.
Well, Joe, I don't know if I'll get to talk to you again before you ship this game. So thank you in advance to you and the team for pushing hard in the final stretch, because it's, for me personally, I've been playing Diablo since the first game, which makes me old. But I had like I told you earlier, I had an absolute blast. Like, I was trying to explain it to somebody of why this game feels good and feels like Diablo 2 kind of good. And I can't quite explain why, which is not great because it's my job to explain why. But you're clearly on the right path for me. So thanks for the next 4-5 months of what I'm sure will be super hard work, because I can't wait to play the final game.
Well, I appreciate it. Fixing bugs and getting the game ready. So we're just as excited to get it out and to have people get the chance to play all the work the team's been working on.
That was Diablo